sure hope nobody spoils Rescue Rangers for you. That would suck, because all the surprise cameos and surprisingly adult jokes are what make the movie interesting. I got your multiverse of madness right here. My jaw was on the floor for a lot of this. It doesn't have a lot of heart, though, and I think the central mystery is a dud, and a bit disturbing, but in an odd way rather than a thrilling way. I would have ripped the central mystery right out of this and replaced it with something else. I think it weighs the movie down. But still, if you manage to go in cold as I did, I'd only seen the very first trailer, you might not have a smile on your face while you're watching the movie, and it doesn't have that classic Disney feel which has made the company such a juggernaut over the decades, because people just love that feel. But you will have a look of awe on your face and a number of laughs. It was very, very funny. Yes, Rescue Rangers, I would say, is definitely made for adult fans of the Disney afternoon. Basically, we're talking animated shows that aired in the late 1980s to the early 1990s. These fans will enjoy Rescue Rangers the most, as they'll get all the jokes, especially if they've stayed a fan of animation and Hollywood in general. But how about kids today? Well, about that, I'm not so sure. First off, I don't know how much they'll enjoy the movie themselves, because a lot of the jokes and references they won't get. They'll be like, I have no idea who that is or what you're talking about. And I'm not sure if parents will want to watch this will want to have small children watch this show. I think it depends on if you think they'll understand jokes like the implication that Dale is a male stripper for extra money on the side. I was like, am I looking at what I think I'm looking at? Don't worry, there's nothing like that. They were just, backstage. But I was like, I think this movie's saying Dale is a stripper. They were very subtle about it, but that seemed to be the case. Or an opium den gag where it's an opium den but for cheese, which I thought was very clever, but that's a very adult joke. If you think those jokes will fly right over their heads, then great, enjoy the movie. I mean, I watched a lot of James Bond movies, classic James Bond movies with my parents growing up, and I didn't get any of the innuendo. I've rewatched those movies as an adult and be like, I can't believe you let me watch this. But you know what? Maybe you might want to watch this first, just to make sure. Because again, as I said, some of the jokes are very adult. Rescue Rangers never fully engaged me. Like, I always had one foot out the door. But there are three things that I really loved about the film. All right, number one, as I said, the cameos are insane. Think Roger Rabbit meets the Lego Movie meets Robot Chicken. Not only are they clever, but they go way beyond Disney properties, which makes the movie seem less like a giant commercial. I'm looking at you, Wreck-It Ralph 2. That was not good. But this was surprising. The jokes are even a little mean-spirited, which makes it even more surprising. But so clever and on point that you have to laugh and give the movie credit. You're like, oh, that was a good one. You got me. In the end credits, I could see that Universal and some toy companies willingly participated and got special thanks. But I didn't see a special thanks for Warner Brothers or Paramount. So I guess the film uses the parody law that you can use other people's properties if it's a joke. And boy, they made some jokes about Paramount and Warner Brothers. But very funny ones, very funny. Again, nothing is sacred here, including Disney properties. So you have to be okay to laugh at some of your favorite characters and again, properties. I mean, I did not love what they did with Peter Pan, and it bothered me a bit, but I just got over it and went with the flow. All right, number two, John Mulaney and Andy Samberg. What chemistry! Like Chip and Dale, they balance each other out perfectly, and neither of them phones it in. They were so good. I mean, Andy Samberg gets a lot of acting work, but John Mulaney made a very good case for himself here. They were both very, very good. If you enjoy either of their work, and I like both of them, particularly John Mulaney. Sometimes I don't like Andy Samberg, but this was like, I thought, sometimes he's a little like out of control in my opinion and all over the place, but here he was focused, and I thought he did really good work. But you'll be able to enjoy this movie if you enjoy either of them, even a smidge. You'll be like, oh, this is funny. And while neither of them worked on the script, kudos to the script for making up lines that are perfectly tailored to each of them. This movie has a lot of great quotable jokes that made me genuinely laugh out loud. I think my two favorite are don't worry, I'm not going to tell you the joke. I just want you to know what it is when you see it. So a misunderstanding about Chip's dog, that was so funny. And Dale's joke about making bad movies. I also want to give honorable mention to the New York accents gag, because as a New Yorker, I found that particularly funny. And then three, the third act fight between Kiki Layne playing a human police detective and an animated character that I won't spoil. This was so brilliantly done, I was both in awe and laughing at the same time. This was the only time the film, I think, reached Roger Rabbit level. It was brilliant. Layne does a great job throughout the film, and she's, you know, I think her career isn't moving as fast as some of us would like it to, but I think she's building a really nice body of work. And she should be proud to be one half of this fight, which is, again, an amazing fight. So creatively clever. And genuinely funny. It was a great fight. It should go down as like one of the greatest fights in movie history. It was, I'm not kidding, it was really good. I also appreciated that the movie takes itself very seriously production-wise. I mean, it's got cinematography by Larry Fong. That's hilarious. And you can tell, because the movie looks good throughout. So again, what I didn't love, again, I didn't like the mystery. I didn't like that the rest of the Rescue Rangers were benched for almost the entire movie. I mean, is it Chip and Dale, or they sold it on Rescue Rangers, so they should have had more Rescue Rangers, more Disney Afternoon cameos maybe. They have a few. Plus, the movie never explained why Chip and Dale use different voices on air. They slip into them like maybe once or twice here, but for the most part, it's John Mulaney and Andy Samberg, which is fine. Actors have personas, and that could have been really interesting to explore, but the movie doesn't bother to do that. It also totally ignores Chip and Dale's iconic history in animation before Rescue Rangers, which is weird for a movie that's supposed to be so knowledgeable about Hollywood history and airing on a service that has a ton of great Chip and Dale classic cartoons. They're, as I said, iconic. But anyway, I would definitely watch Rescue Rangers, and I would try and watch it as soon as it drops to avoid those spoilers, as people will tweet about this movie for sure with screen grabs when it drops. It's just, the cameos are too good not to tweet about. Some of them in particular, people will be like, I can't believe that. It's going to show up for sure. But I'd keep it casual. You know, I wouldn't make too big a deal about it. I watched it in the evening, and I think I would have enjoyed it more if it had been a morning watch or a lazy afternoon, like the Disney afternoon. But unless your family and or friends are going to make like a big night of it, like you're going to make it a big party, well then have fun. I think it would be particularly fun with a group. And I gotta say, this was good enough and interesting enough that I would want a sequel. I would watch a sequel, and I would like more content like this. I think, you know, aggressive content is how I would describe it. It's a little edgy for Disney, you know, Disney proper, but I think that they need to compete with Marvel and Star Wars on Disney Plus, and they're having a hard time doing that. Except, you know, for people wanting to just dive into the Disney vault, like Scrooge McDuck, and just roll around in it. But for new content, I think this is what they need. And with Hocus Pocus and Enchanted sequels on the way, I think Disney knows this, and we're just getting started, which is exciting. So that's my review of Rescue Rangers, which starts streaming on Disney Plus this Friday. It's funny to say, but I think adults in particular will enjoy this. And I guess maybe kids can come along for the ride too if they really want to. All right, share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.